Hi. Okay, this is my first attempt at recording screen capture on Zoom, so here's hoping it all works out. Today I'm making a video to show you how to extract data from the balloon analog risk-taking task, the BART, which is run on PsychoPy. So first things first, navigate to your PsychoPy folder where your BART information is stored. So this will have been the folder that you used to run the actual balloon analog risk-taking task on your computer. In that folder, you will see a subfolder called data. Click on that. And in here, you'll see many files. The number of files, obviously enough, will depend on the number of participants you've had. So I'm just going to highlight today's file. So this is some data that was just recorded when I ran through a version of the task. And you can see that it saved 3 different files for my 1 round of participation. So for each participant you should have 3 data files. You're only really interested in the .csv files. Oh, I should say here, if you have saved these according to participant number, great. Otherwise, they will just automatically save according to the date that the participant completed the task. So you're interested in the CSV files. So click on CSV and open it. I'd encourage you to open it with Microsoft Excel where possible. And you'll get a slightly overwhelming looking page of data. So what you're seeing here is across the top headings that tell you what the various data points mean. So for example, max pumps refers to the maximum number of pumps on that trial. You also have something like N pumps, which is the number of pumps that the participant made on that trial, so how many times they pressed the button to pump the balloon. You'll also see this, whether or not the balloon popped. False means the balloon did not pop. True means the balloon did pop. There are also very many other data points here that we're not super interested in. So here you can see gender, which you might be interested in, and age, which you might be interested in. Everything else is a little bit superfluous. So how do we turn all of this into data that you can actually analyze in your final year project? So I'm going to show you this page. This is a reference, which if you remind me, I will send to you, for the balloon analog risk task. This is the original reference for the BART, and beyond the original reference, this page tells you various types of information that's pertinent to your write-up and how you score the BART. Of particular interest is this paragraph here, scoring the balloon analog risk task. So what we mean by that is, how do you extract data, or what data should you extract? So this tells us that the primary score, or the primary measure used to assess BART performance, is the adjusted average number of pumps on unexploded balloons, with higher scores indicative of greater risk-taking propensity. And it provides you with some references you can check out about this. So what this means is, in the most simple and common way to look at the data from the BART, we look only at the balloons that didn't pop, so the unexploded balloons, and we look at the average number of pumps that participants make on the unexploded balloons. So how do we get that data out of Excel? So I would encourage you to apply some filters. So in your Excel file, go to Data and Filter, click Filter, and you'll see that all of these headings along the top now have little drop-down menus. So bearing in mind that we're interested in the balloons that did not pop, you go to your popped column and click on the filter. So deselect, select all, so that none of the data are selected. Now you want the balloons that did not pop, so you want popped to be false and only show those data. Now what we have is the data set adjusted so that it only shows us the data for the balloons that have not popped. We're now interested in this column here, number of pumps. So we want the average number of pumps for the unpopped balloons. So what we're going to do is go to formulas, and we're going to click average, and it automatically highlights this column for you. Press enter, and you can see here for me, for the unpopped balloons, on average, I pressed the pump button 32.81 times. Okay, so that is the data that we take from the BART for one participant. Clearly, you will need to do this for all of the participants in your study. So you'll need to go through the Excel file or the CSV file for each of the participants in your study. Activate the filters like I showed you here. So select that top row, turn on the filters, select the unpopped balloons, so where the balloon did not pop is false, and then calculate the average using the formula tab for the number of pumps for those unpopped balloons. Then you will enter this data into your SPSS spreadsheet so that for each line in SPSS, I'll show you here in Excel, you'll have something like your participant number, which is 1. You'll have their age, so in my case 32. You might have their gender, so where 1 is female and 2 is male, or whatever gender coding system you're using. You'll have the number of pumps, which we said was 32. Whoops. So we can't copy and paste. Okay. 32.81 if we round it to 2 decimal places. So that's 32.81. We'll just double check that figure. Yeah. Okay, and then you'll have the rest of your data. So maybe you're looking at impulsivity scores or dark triad scores or anhedonia scores, whatever it is, you'll have your other questionnaire data there. So remember that for each row of participants, you will have the participant number, their demographic information, their BART scores, plus the rest of the data from your study. I hope this is useful, but if you have more questions, just drop me an email and let me know.